Thousands of people came from miles around to show their appreciation to our veterans and to share the history of America's fight to remain free from the Revolutionary War to today's conflicts in the Middle East. What began 8 years ago was a way to thank our veterans and to show the public what resources the military has used over its history has now become the largest ground and air show in the Southeast. This program was made possible by Legends of Air Power, 52 biographical DVDs and videos about the life and times of America's greatest military aviators. For more information, www.legendsofairpower.com. And by Naked in Da Nang, a humorous and inspirational new perspective on America's Vietnam veterans. For more information, www.nakedindanang.com. The Celebrate Freedom Weekend is an air show and a program on the ground featuring military demonstrations from the 1700s through today, including hangars and hangars of memorabilia. Children and grown-ups, including many veterans, delighted to the many aircraft on display on the ground and in the air. From replicas of the first airplane to fly, to the workhorse of the Berlin airlift, the C-54 cargo plane. This Douglas C-54, the Spirit of Freedom, serves as the world's only museum and exhibit about the great Berlin airlift of 1948 and 1949. Inside the Spirit of Freedom is a collection of photos and displays depicting the Berlin airlift, when 330 Douglas C-54 transports were used to supply food, medicine, and other life-saving essentials to 2.5 million Berliners who were cut off from the outside world by the communists. Some of the many planes on display and flying included the venerable T-6 Texan and PT-17 Stearman aircraft, as well as the Navy Douglas Dauntless. This bird dog was used as late as Vietnam to spot enemy positions and call in attacks. The Cessna L-19 was actually in service from 1942 to 1962. And the smoke billows out of this rare C-60 or Lockheed Model 18 Lodestar cargo plane from World War II. Each day opened with a parachute drop and presentation of the colors by the Green Beret.
How about some cheering for him? Let's hear him now. Come on, pump it up for him. Here comes Bill Ganner. It's a 1-2. Whoops, down on the knees. And here.
Call it by its many names, the T-6 Texan, the Harvard, or the SNJ. This aircraft was called the Pilot Maker because of its important role training combat pilots from the 1940s to well into the 1970s. The A-10 Warthog. Its real name is Thunderbolt II, named after World War II's P-47. This versatile aircraft was on the list to be decommissioned from inventory until it showed its stuff during the First Gulf War. Now the Air Force is modifying and upgrading them. This tank killer may be slower than other jets, but it's agile and can turn on a dime. P-51 Mustang, Cadillac of the Sky. Crazy Horse is the only dual-stick Mustang. You can actually go to its Florida base and fly it. Look at this eye-watering flyby. The Heritage Flight, an Eagle, a Thunderbolt, and a Mustang. Used in Vietnam and up until just a few years ago, the Cessna 337 Skymaster, called the Mixmaster, or Suck and Blow by some pilots, setting up a forward air control demonstration with the T-28.
Located between the two twin. Now that began production in 1950 to replace the old T6 trainer. He's on the ground. He can't really see it. It sounds like that's what he's trying to describe. Okay, we'll be in again and from about the north. We got ammo coming in, food coming in, cold beer coming in, or maybe a medevac. Could it be somebody else? The familiar sound of the rotor blades of the Huey helicopter. That was the Willie and Jean Wonderful.
The people that fly the helicopters you are seeing are all Vietnam veteran pilots. The Army Aviation Heritage Foundation was formed to share the military's legacy of service. They give rides and demonstrations to educate people about the mission of helicopters in Vietnam. The U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Flying Army helicopters and reliving the mission of Vietnam Army combat, Sky Soldiers from Atlanta put on a spectacular aerial reenactment. The Navy and Marines used this radial engine T-28 as their primary pilot trainer. The B-25 first gained notoriety after the Doolittle raid on Tokyo in the early part of World War II. This is Team RV. These pilots from all across the eastern United States are in home-built airplanes. Many spent years building the RV-4, RV-6, and RV-8 airplanes from Vans Aircraft, a kit plane manufacturer in Oregon. The 8th annual Celebrate Freedom Weekend in Camden, South Carolina was a great success, both on the ground and in the air. School children and adults were able to meet and speak with people like a space shuttle commander, the Doolittle Raiders, members of the Black Sheep Squadron, and Tuskegee Airmen. Also many other notable Americans that helped keep our country free. This program was made possible by Legends of Air Power, 52 biographical DVDs and videos about the life and times of America's greatest military aviators. For more information, www.legendsofairpower.com. And by Naked in Da Nang, a humorous and inspirational new perspective on America's Vietnam veterans. For more information, www.nakedindanang.com.